Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley, UUCBV, or Brazos UU for short. I'm the Reverend Kristin Schmidt, interim minister of this congregation. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. So whoever you are, wherever you have come from, wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. We encourage everyone to visit our website, brazos-uu.org. During this time of pandemic and in the midst of our planned building project, the website and our weekly services are our church home. If you might like to contribute your musical talents, or if you have a great story to share about your life's journey, or if you have a passion for social justice, we'd love to hear from you. If you're interested in getting involved, you can find opportunities on our website. To learn more about our community and what is happening, you can join our email list and our monthly newsletter. You can also find us on social media by searching UUCBV. Our service today is a very special one. We've teamed up with a number of other UU congregations and worship leaders to create a summer series of worship services, each of which uses a movie as its theme. Today we are exploring the theology of The Last Jedi, a Star Wars movie, in a service led by me and my wife, the Reverend Kristin Schmidt. In July, we'll be treated to great worships led by some of my colleagues from around the country about some movies, some of which you may already know, others of which you may be hearing about for the first time. As part of this, we'll be hosting watch parties for each movie in the days before the worship service. Thanks to all of you who came out last night to watch The Last Jedi with us. Today, I welcome you once again, and may the Force be with you. May the Force be with you.
And also with you.
Lift up your lightsabers.
We lift them up to the rebellion.
We cast away the spirit of Jar Jar, bringer of mindless chatter and unnecessary anecdotes. We call forth the spirit of Obi-Wan Kenobi, patient teacher and speaker of riddles.
Come, spirit of Obi-Wan Kenobi, come.
We call forth the spirit of Yoda, ancient teacher of wisdom.
Come, spirit of Yoda, come.
We call forth the spirit of Padme, strong and fierce leader of nations and mother.
Come, spirit of Padme, come.
We call forth the spirit of Han Solo, determined friend and defier of odds.
Come, spirit of Han Solo, come.
We call forth the spirit of R2-D2, humble in service and great of heart.
Come, spirit of R2-D2, come.
The Force is truly with us. In a sign of community and mutuality, let us all wave as a sign of sharing the Force with one another. Today's chalice lighting comes from the Reverend Leslie Takahashi. She writes, "All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share."
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, this world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. Feeling stronger every day. We are building a new way.
Luke Skywalker and the Deep Truth. Luke Skywalker grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, raised by his aunt and uncle. He always thought he was a pretty ordinary kid, but with the help of his friends, Princess Leia and Han Solo, he became a powerful Jedi Master who went on to fight the evil Empire. Later he taught a powerful boy named Ben Solo who made a different choice about what to do with his power. Ben used that power for the dark side, and Luke was devastated. He spent years blaming himself for Ben's decision, but many years later, another powerful student named Rey came to ask Luke for help. She needed him to teach her how to use the Force so that she too could help the Resistance fight the evil Empire. In helping Rey learn how to use her power, Luke came to understand one deep truth. Even though Luke had felt responsible for Ben's turn to the dark side, it had been Ben's choice. You can have all of the power in the world, but it's up to you to choose how to use it. There are lots of things we can learn from Star Wars, but today's takeaway is this. None of us are Jedis, and most of us are pretty ordinary. But power, the force of life and strength, runs in each of us, and it's up to us to choose how to use it. May we all choose to use our power to bless the world.
A reading by Reinhold Niebuhr. He writes, "Nothing worth doing is completed in our lifetime. Therefore, we are saved by hope. Nothing true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Therefore, we are saved by faith. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. Therefore, we are saved by love. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as from our own. Therefore, we are saved by the final form of love, which is forgiveness." So ends our reading. As we do each week, we take a time to share those joys and concerns, sorrows and milestones most on our hearts and minds, knowing that in this community, in this time and place, they are held by all of us together. If you have something to share, whether it's a concern for the whole world or for yourself and those you love, please feel free to share it in the chat box at any time. We lift up a few concerns among us all. For all of those who are suffering with the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, for the people of India where the virus is raging out of control, for those in our own country experiencing medical issues or supporting family and friends, or who have experienced job loss and other turmoil, we lift you up and we hold you in our hearts and minds this Sunday. We remember, as we do each week, that Black lives matter. And as we strive for justice, equity, and anti-racism, we know that until Black lives matter as much as all other lives in this country, our work will not be finished. To these, we add the concerns of our own hearts and minds. Again, I invite you to share in the chat box. If there's something you can't share there right now, know that all that goes unspoken or unwritten is nonetheless held by each and every one of us. For the concerns and joys of this community, we give thanks and we support one another. Amen.
Sometimes it feels like everything in the world is on our shoulders, doesn't it? I remember political ads last year that made it feel like my donation, my one vote, would make the difference between my candidate winning or losing. For well over a year, we all had to scrutinize every decision we made about going out anywhere, whether to see the doctor or go for a walk. We lived with the worry that the wrong choice, a face mask, going to the grocery store or carry-out restaurant at the wrong time, or lingering too long to catch up with our mail deliverer might make us catch the virus. Even our own Unitarian Universalist faith has a big focus on individual choice and agency. Most often, changing the world and work for justice are framed in terms of our personal choices, our willingness to make change in our own lives and habits. In this way, it can sometimes feel a bit like we're the Last Jedi, like justice and peace and goodness will all just fall apart if we don't keep on keeping on. Now, I absolutely believe that our choices matter, that each of us has something important and unique to offer this world. But I also think this idea that people are completely independent, autonomous individuals, and that everything's on our shoulders alone only serves those who don't want us to find our collective power. It's a worldview we can't afford to assume as gospel any longer. Luke Skywalker teaches Rey a similar lesson in The Last Jedi. Sometimes it might feel like the evil empire is winning and the resistance is losing strongholds. All sorts of things in our world are changing right now. Authoritarianism threatens democracy not only in the United States, but in many countries around the globe. Powerful institutions that have been around for a long time and fought against injustices of many kinds are fading in their influence. News and journalism is in the midst of changing forms once again. But just as the news is bigger than newspaper or magazines or blogs, just as democracy is bigger than any one government, no institution or political party or church or other organization owns the power that lifts up those whom the world brings low, the power that fills the hungry with good things and topples the mighty from their thrones. That power that we recognize as inherent in every human being, that power that is so often born to the poor and the ordinary, that power that surges in crowds marching for freedom and colleagues unwilling to sit by and allow injustice to continue on their watch. That power flows in all of us as surely as the Force does in Star Wars, and it flows strongest and best when we come together in shared purpose and community. When I was a teenager, I joined hundreds of other youth in Nashville, Tennessee for General Assembly, the annual business meeting of the Unitarian Universalist Association. The population of people living without homes on the street was quite large there that summer, and there was a man who would ask us for water or money every time we went into the door closest to the youth programming. Well, one evening on our way to an evening service, we noticed an ambulance near the convention center. That man was lying next to it. My friends and I felt responsible, culpable. There we were enjoying a conference talking about largely esoteric things, while he struggled to find food, shelter, water, human affection. It was a time in my life I felt keenly aware of how great the need is and how limited my power is as an individual to meet that need. Now, my friends and I went on to collect spare change from other youth at GA that year. We had a pretty fun trip to a Kroger grocery store to buy non-perishable foodstuffs, and we donated them to a local Baptist food mission. The newspaper even wrote an article about it. And it was that experience that helped me understand in a deep way the importance not only of my own power, my own choices, my own agency, but of organizing our power so that our efforts have a deeper impact. Remember, friends, none of us is the last Jedi. And even if we were, the Jedi don't have a monopoly on the Force. The same power that has lifted us each up in our worst moments, the same power that has brought peace to flower from the strong roots of justice, the same power flows through you and through me and through every other person. May we honor it by organizing our power, sharing our abundance, and remembering that while our choices matter, the work for justice is not all on our shoulders.
I've often heard it said that we are more powerful together than we are apart. But that means we have to be willing to first come together. It can be hard to pick one focus, one issue, one community partner with whom to go all in. But imagine what you could change in your town or city if your congregation did just that. Instead of focusing on 10 or 15 different things every year, what if we chose one as a congregation? What if we chose one as an entire Unitarian Universalist association? Doesn't mean we have to abandon the issues or battles we think are most important, but it might mean that in our congregations and other communities, we have to learn to center work that's different from the issues or strategies we might most prefer. It might mean letting go of our need to wordsmith the language, to control the narrative, to be the ones making the calls. It might mean being willing to move where the force, the spirit, the justice energy is calling us to go, instead of where we might want to go. As Rose puts it, that's how we're going to win. Not fighting what we hate, saving what we love. Now, our faith has long been about deconstruction. Deconstructing theology, deconstructing ideologies of oppression. And deconstruction is really important. It's one of Fowler's stages of faith development, after all. We all go through that, tearing apart the things that we've been taught and seeing if they really even make sense. But it's not the end-all, be-all. It's not the goal. We can't just tear down everything that isn't working or is harmful. We also have to be about constructing a positive faith for ourselves, about building a just world for all. As we see in Star Wars, destroying the Empire wasn't enough. Without a working government and society, the door was open for the First Order to rise. And Rose is right. Destroying the First Order won't be enough either. It certainly won't be enough for Finn to sacrifice himself just to destroy one weapon, however powerful. In our own world, we see this too. Even anti-racism, as important and powerful as it is not the end goal. It's a piece of the journey. It's about deconstructing the systemic, powerful, oppressive force of racism in our world, and also its accomplices, classism and poverty and homophobia and so many others. But that work has to be paired with a positive vision for the world of which we dream. There's a wonderful UUA curriculum about this very thing. It's called Building the World We Dream About, which is both an anti-racist workshop, but also one that addresses this very issue by pairing anti-racist work with the work of building the beloved community. In the proposed 8th principle, we see the same pairing. Not just anti-racist and anti-oppressive work, though that matters, but also the vision of beloved community. And let me take a moment to tease that out. We use that term a lot, beloved community. Martin Luther King Jr. used it. He got it from the philosopher Josiah Royce. What does that mean? Well, if I can try to sum it up in a few sentences, it means something like a vision of people living and being together in peace with the presence of justice. It means an end to oppressions of all forms. It means the flourishing of each human life and all of our lives together. And I'm not sure that any of us living in a world as broken as this one is right now can fully grasp what that would even look like. But the good news is we don't have to. We can get closer to it each and every day through our own and our collective actions. As a parent, I have to remind myself sometimes of this, that it's not enough to stop a bad behavior, not enough to tell a child to cut it out. Though sometimes, of course, that's all we have the time and energy for. We have to pair that with showing our children a positive vision of who they can be, what they can do, what hopes and dreams we have for them, what hopes and dreams of their own they can nurture. Life isn't about avoiding the bad stuff. It's about making sure we save and create the good stuff too. So don't just tell me what you're doing to oppose racism. Tell me too what you're doing to promote your vision of beloved community. Don't just tell me what you're fighting. Tell me about what you love and how you're working to save that. Because friends, we don't win just by fighting what we hate. We win by saving, by creating what we love. So may it be. There is so much in this life we receive which we do nothing to earn. The beauty of nature, the inspiration of music and art, our very lives themselves. All of these things are gifts we receive. Each of our congregations are also gifts founded and built by generations of people much like us, some still living, others with the ancestors. They created these communities not only for themselves, but for all of us who receive their gifts of inspiration and learning, challenge and guidance, music and service, here and now. And so it's our turn to give what we each can to support our congregations so that others can enjoy the gifts we enjoy in abundance. Sunday morning offerings are part of what make our ministries, programs, and mission possible. But most importantly, making an offering will allow us all to practice generosity, to contribute to a whole that can do more good together than any of us can alone. The offering will now be given and received with gratitude for all of life's blessings. If we were having worship service in person, this is the time when we would pass the basket. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate every week to support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. This month, we are proud to support the Brazos Valley African American Museum. Brazos UU believes in their mission, which is to explore, develop, preserve, and present the cultural history and heritage of African Americans in our community. Please be as generous as you can. If you wish to make an offering, you can mail your check, or for your convenience, you can donate online on our homepage at brazos-uu.org. You can also find our mailing address at the bottom there, and at the top you will see a Donate Here link. In the chat box, you'll see that link now. May each of us look into our hearts. How much love, how much generosity, how much faith, how much gratitude, how much hope is there? We give thanks for these gifts we have given, for those gifts we receive, and for each other.
Will you be with me? Will you see me through? When the world is harsh, can I count on you? We have come this far, now it's up to you to be there. I stood up for
Spirit of life, God of many names, yet beyond all naming. We give thanks for the joys among us today and all who will partake of this worship service later. We hold in loving care all those with sorrows and concerns for friends and loved ones and for our hurting world. Fear, pain, and the reality of the world's evils weigh heavily on many of our hearts. So we give thanks today for this congregation and the many others like it, where we are reminded again and again that love is stronger than hate. When we grow disappointed in ourselves, in the ways maybe we haven't been our best selves, remind us that the force of life and strength, wisdom and kindness is in each of us, and there's nothing we can do or fail to do to blot it out. Remind us that we are loved, and that the same love that holds us will never let anyone else go either. This morning, we give thanks for this strong yet tender, challenging yet comforting, hallowed yet quirky church community, where all are loved as we are, but too much to let us stay that way. And we give thanks again and again for all in our world, both past and present, who use their force, their power for good, who bear witness to grace and love and mercy, who live out their faith, whatever it is, not by fighting what they hate, but by saving what they love. These and all things we pray for love's sake. Amen.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Gonna keep on moving proudly. Keep on
We have basked in the warmth and beauty of this flame and this community. As the chalice flame is extinguished, let us carry its glow within. Let us kindle new sparks within these walls and beyond.
Friends, this is how we're going to win. Not by fighting what we hate, but saving what we love. We have to oppose racism, work against all oppressions, yes, absolutely. But never forget the reason why we do this. To save, to nurture, to create the world of which we dream. Our mission is to go and love the hell out of the world. And so our worship is ended, and our service begins.